All right, here we go. Live stream chat. We are excited about being here. We apologize. We had some technical difficulties, but how many that's a part of live streaming? That's some of the things that we go through as far as live streaming. But we have an exciting show for you today. Really geared towards entrepreneurs, and I'm really excited about really bringing some awesome people on, and we're going to talk about live streaming and how to really implement that in your business, how Ecamm Live has really impacted our businesses, and how we're able to use live streaming to really elevate and grow our revenue, grow our businesses, grow our engagement, and really grow our community. And I really believe it's really important that we understand that it's not going back to the old traditional ways of doing marketing and doing business. The internet is here to stay. Live streaming is here to stay, and it's really the new way of really advertising. Really, what we call, as a branding consultant, I call relationship marketing, right? And so, my name is Jermaine Freeman. I'm better known as the Marketing U Coach. I specialize in helping small business owners and entrepreneurs generate revenue through the power of social media and digital technology. And today, I'm so excited. We have some awesome people on our panel today, and we're going to be talking about a lot of different subjects. Listen, if you have not heard of Ecamm Live, you are doing yourself a disservice. Make sure you go check out Ecamm Live. It's a live streaming platform that allows you to do so many different things, but really help as it relates to your live streaming and really reaching your audience on a whole nother level, right? Our phones are great. We can use those, starting out, but sometimes you just want to up level what you're doing, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, what have you. And so we have some amazing people out of the community that I'm going to go ahead and bring on now. And I am super excited. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Listen, I'm gonna go
Doing
around, and
good.
we're gonna allow each of them to introduce themselves real briefly, and tell us what they do, what their background is, and we're gonna start with Jillian Moran.
Hey guys, great to meet some of you. Great to be here. Hope you're seeing me and hearing me okay. Yeah, I joined the Ecamm fam a little over a year ago, and it's been an awesome way for me to kind of grow and be able to offer services to clients that I couldn't really do before. So I love being here, love the group, love how much everybody shares and supports each other, and I'm happy to be part of this group.
Awesome. Charles, you said you were muted. I think that's on your end. Let's go to Tramel Crawford.
Yes, my name is Tramel Crawford. I am a graphic designer and a CEO over here for Purpose Creative Studios LLC. I'm also have my own show on Fridays. I love Ecamm. I use it for it. It's called the HFAP Radio Podcast Show. I have my co-host DJ King Kong who does the music, and we have fun every Friday, just enjoying what we're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just glad to be a part of this discussion.
Awesome. Let's go back to Charles, my man Charles Jackson. It said guests has muted themselves. All right, while he's getting that worked out, let's hear from Joel.
Well, thanks. Hi, I'm Joel Foner. I've done a variety of things, but in public, I'm doing coaching work, leadership and management coaching. I've worked in large companies doing product development coaching, but also in a previous life, did a whole bunch of audio video work that all of a sudden with Ecamm has come back to, whoa, I can use this stuff. And so I've been using Ecamm in a corporate setting a lot, and am just starting to branch out into doing stuff in public. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We're still having a technical issue with Charles. It says Joel the voice. All right, hopefully we can get him worked out. While he's doing that, let's go ahead and start talking about the discussion and really how Ecamm Live, or just live streaming in general. Well, one of the great things about our community is we show a lot of people different things. I'm sure all of us have been in a place where we've been kind of like a mentor, right? As it relates to live streaming and helping people in a community come along as far as live streaming. But as far as being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, what are some of the ways that you guys have implemented live streaming and even Ecamm Live as a software solution into your businesses? What are some of the ideas that you guys have seen as far as case uses and how to really implement that into your businesses? Let's start with Jillian.
So one of my main clients is the Marlboro Economic Development Corporation in the hometown where I grew up, and I came on board there about a year ago, and they were moving from more like digital newsletters into video newsletters since I loved creating videos and all that. And then it was about like it was December when I looked at the executive director. I was like, listen, you're so good on the fly. You know how to answer questions. You know how to be an excellent host. You need to start doing a biweekly podcast, video podcast. So we started doing that there, and it's been really great. We've been able to bring in a lot of different guests and talk about economic development in a really natural, fun way that also is really professional and high level. But Ecamm has been, the only way that I could think of to really do that in a clean, consistent, branded kind of way. So that's just one example on how I'm using Ecamm every other week, every other Wednesday at 10 a.m. Marlboro Economic Development, woohoo for the win. But there's
All
lots of
right.
other ways that we use it too, for sure.
Okay. What about you,
Yeah.
Joel? Joel, what about
Uh,
you?
yes. The way that I did it before is the radio podcast show that I do every Friday at 7 p.m. It has actually helped a lot because beforehand I actually started the podcast last year, and I didn't even know about Ecamm until later on, like in March, and it was by Elicio Way actually, and I saw Elicio's his podcast and everything. I said, "Oh man!" So I actually reached out to Elicio and I said, "Man," I said, "What are you using?" Now watching so many others like Elicio and Mr. Charles Jackson and Dot Rock and just so many of those. And I said, "Oh, I have to use Ecamm and really see how can I really use the software to really enhance the radio podcast." And ever since actually using Ecamm, it has really gained more views and actually having people to ask, what type of software are you using? And I tell them,
Mm.
Ecamm Live, and so many people actually just based off of me doing what I do on Fridays with the radio podcast. There's other people who use Ecamm also as well. So Ecamm really has enhanced what I do every Friday with the radio podcast.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, we got Charles straightened out, so we're gonna go back to Charles and let him introduce himself, and then he can kind of go forward and as far as what you're using Ecamm for and how you're implementing it into your business as well.
Absolutely. So, um, I am Charles Jackson. I lead Charles Jackson Media, which is a consultancy connecting people, passion, and purpose. My wife and I also lead a marriage and family organization called You Before Me that we started back in 2014. And that is what got us into live streaming. We were looking for ways to find a more, I guess, diverse audience to share our messages with and our strategies with. And I actually started with OBS, and my very first live stream with OBS, about 5 minutes into it, everything crashed on me and I thought we were no longer live. And so I kind of started to panic and I couldn't get the feedback that was going to Facebook. So I told my wife, I said, well, this is our first live. We'll just continue to practice what we were going to do. So we actually kept going through our run of show. And then when it was over, and I closed out everything and opened everything back up, I actually saw that we were live the whole time and people could hear us and see us and they were commenting. So after that, though, I had to get away from OBS and I was introduced to Ecamm. And since 2014, we've been using Ecamm. So what we did was we started with live Q&As. We were broadcasting
Oh,
live with Ecamm doing the
nice.
Q&As. And that allowed us to see what our audience was interested in. And I've just continued to do that into my leadership business. And so by doing lives and sharing free content, you're able to see what folks are interested in, the needs, the
Mhm.
questions that they have. Then I, in turn, take that, do more videos, but then I also look for ways to monetize either a coaching session or a 8-week course or some type of conference based on all of the information that I get when I do my lives using Ecamm.
That's
Love it,
awesome.
love it. Yeah, it is. So let me ask you guys this: so how important do you think live streaming is to today's time, or today's entrepreneur, today's business owner, how important is live streaming? We know that we all deal with individuals, maybe be clients that we have, or individuals in the community that they're afraid of the camera. They're afraid to hit that live button and go live. But I think it's very, very important that they understand that this could be a critical component of their business. And so, how important do you feel it is as it relates to a marketing strategy, growth strategies in our businesses, or what have you?
Don't everybody jump in.
Yeah, anybody can jump in.
Well,
We're
if I
kicking
could
this
say
off so
go ahead.
shy. We're like,
Right. Y'all
Yeah.
can relax.
I,
Y'all can
I
relax.
will. I would definitely say this. I think as we've kind of looked at how just businesses shifted in general, like really brick and mortar businesses, they had to do commercials to get the word out, right? Or they had to have some type of promotional event to get their brand and their messaging and their offerings out in front of people. So it was commercial, it was live events, it was some type of in-person type of conference. And now we've shifted into this digital age where we all have tablets, we all have smartphones, we're constantly on Netflix, Roku, Amazon TV, Apple TV, like we're always streaming through some type of medium that is electronic. And then so now I think as business owners, we have to find the particular avenues where we can tap into where those people are hanging out to put our messaging, our offering in front of them. The thing about live stream though is because we've lost a lot of the in-person connections, going back to my passion, which is connecting people, we're not able to do that as much as we were before. Even
Right.
pre-COVID, I think we saw a shift from that. We still crave that sort of live interaction, and live videos, live broadcast allows folks to ask us questions, send us comments, and feel like they are a part of. It's not like back in the day when you would watch a talk show and you're kind of throwing comments at the TV and nobody hears them,
Right.
nobody knows you're there. When you do live stream, the people are brought in into that experience with you, and I think that's what makes it really powerful because they feel like they're a part of your community and part of your brand for real.
yeah.
Right.
And there's a
Yeah.
level of vulnerability too, where, when someone's live stream is, it's not all scripted. You're not gonna, you're gonna present kind of how you are, like it or not, mistakes or not. So there's that vulnerability and realness that I think, especially this next generation, really appreciates and really is drawn to. I mean, if you just look at TikTok, like the videos that have the most likes are like nobody's looking beautiful, except for
Right.
that one guy that's going viral right now. You know what I'm talking about? I can't even say, but everybody really connects with people being themselves, making mistakes, being out there and communicating, like Charles said, being able to answer questions on the fly, being able to genuinely connect with people. And if you don't know the answer, you don't know the answer. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But having that authenticity is important. So live streaming can really, connect people in a real way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I could add in from and also from forget about us as business people out there are having a real hard time figuring out who to pay attention to. I mean, we've
That's
got the
good.
entire planet now shouting on social media, and everybody knows that Instagram pictures aren't kind of real life, to Jillian's point. And this is a way I think that we can be out there and have people say, hey, is this a person I want to be working with? In the business of doing coaching, that's a really important thing. It's important in any business because anybody can write marketing copy, but they want to know the person they're actually working with is somebody they want to work with. My sort of center line is helping people get from conflict to collaboration. And if somebody's feeling like they're in a conflict situation, they want somebody they can really trust. And I think being in public this way live, what better way can you have for somebody to get a sense of who you really are?
I think that's really where live video comes into play, right? Anybody can do a pre-recorded video and be proper and speak proper and all that. But to your point, Joel, and to Jillian's point, is people want authenticity. That that's attractive to them. They want to see, okay, this is a real person. This is somebody that makes mistakes. This is somebody that's not perfect. And many times we make the mistake of trying to be perfect,
Yeah.
for the client or for our potential audience or what have you. And so as it relates to live video, I know for me, one of the things that really got me on the camera. I used to be kind of shy. I know people don't believe that now, but I used to be kind of
Me
shy.
too. So shy. I hate the attention.
And so I was always a personable person, outgoing and all that. But getting in front of people, public speaking, or in front
Mm,
of the camera, you wouldn't believe that that was something that I was scared of. I'm a pastor now as well, and so speaking in front of hundreds of thousands of people now, or what have you, and doing video and all that. But it got to a point where I had to just do it. I always tell
yeah.
people, look, you need to Nike it, right? Just do it, because the more you do it, the better you get at it. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
better you get at it. And so for me, it was literally, it was this old platform that I forgot the name of them now. They're so old now. They're not that old. But Periscope. I don't know if y'all remember Periscope.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when Periscope was jumping, there was a organization on there called Perry 10K, and so it was these organization of all these influencers or what have you, and literally they would get on camera for 5 to 10 minutes every day, right? Each person would take that subject and give their own thought process on the subject, and I was like, yes, I said, you know what, I want to do this. I see this is going to be a huge part of my personal brand, and
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I'm gonna join to Perry 10K. And what happened was my tribe began to grow, right? Because people begin to resonate with my voice. Your voice is designed to reach a certain individual, right? And because you're not sharing your story, you're not getting on camera, you're not sharing your backstory of being an entrepreneur or being a business owner, you're doing the world a disservice. And many times we don't look at it that way. But that allowed me to get practice, and I got
Mm.
better and better on camera. And there's still some things that I'm working on even now. And so, with you guys, what would you say was the motivating factor to really move into like live streaming?
Need. Work for the need for it. So, like you, I worked in a church for a while. I was a worship leader at a church here in Massachusetts, and COVID hit, and we started live streaming. Luckily, I had a little bit of a background with that. I have a YouTube channel where I teach Brazilian Portuguese speakers how to speak English. But my job at the school system as a teacher, and then my job in ministry, we needed to live stream. There wasn't a choice. And so I was lucky that I got a little bit of experience beforehand, but
Hmm.
now there've been so many opportunities where I'm able to make money and grow my personal business and not just live stream for others. But really there was a need for it. It's like, well, we need to reach these people. People can't come to us. We need to come to them. And
Absolutely.
there was a big learning curve, but it was good. And it's everything we've learned along the way has helped in so many other ways.
And I think that's important to understand is, even if you get on, like Charles was saying, how their first broadcast, they ran into some issues. Today we ran into some issues, and I've got at least 80 live streams under my belt. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
so it's
Hmm.
going to happen. But I think the
Yeah.
key is understanding that that's just a part of the process, right? No matter,
Yeah.
I've seen major players in the industry that had fails, right?
Hmm.
And they've been doing it for years. And so don't allow that to hold you back. I think is what I always tell people. Don't allow that to hold you back or what have you. Anybody else? What was
I
kind of like
think
the driving force for you?
I think what you kind of stated there, because I always tell myself in taking the risk, take the risk in actually just jumping in and doing it. Because with me, as Ms. Jillian stated, I'm actually also as well like a praise and worship leader, and also being a speaker and a minister also as well. It's kind of crazy that because in my field of where I was in college, I actually was in media, but actually going forward into this, I was actually kind of nervous. But then I began to tell myself, actually taking the risk, because as Mr. Freeman stated, he said, "You're doing a disservice to yourself." And I always tell people this is a part of my purpose, because you may never know who you may reach out to, or someone else that's wanted to do live streaming, but they just don't know how to start. They don't know how to do it. So you are the driving force, or you are that person that they may look up to, or whatever the case may say. Hey, since this person is doing this, or they're actually taking the risk
Right.
of actually going on here and doing this, then I can do it also myself. And so that's why I can actually use myself as the personnel to say, I actually took in the risk of actually going in doing live streaming. So if I had to tell somebody, actually go out and do it, take in the risk, take the risk of actually going out and just start. All you need is just a phone here, and that's all it takes, and just
Right.
do it.
Okay, I don't know what that was, but
Yeah, I so I started myself. I'm a people person. I used to do sales before the Marine Corps and before my current endeavors. And in sales, I learned quickly by an outstanding sales mentor that no matter the product, no matter your pricing, no matter your strategy, people buy from people. What makes you successful or will make you successful, Charles, is when you show up to that client's door. And this was the time of kind of door to door sales. When you show up to their door and you show them your personality, who you are, and they connect with you, right? People buy for people. The price sometimes doesn't matter. The product even sometimes won't matter if you can connect with them. And so, again, when we started doing live stream, I understood it was a way for me to bring my whole self to the platform that I was creating. And so people didn't just get email campaigns from me, right? And not know who I am, or they didn't just
right.
get these ads on Facebook or Instagram and not be able to know who I am. I'm able to bring my authentic, my fun, my energetic self to a live stream. And people get to connect with me that way, because there are a lot of live streamers that are coming up and coming out right now.
Mhm.
But I understood, and Jermaine, I think you and I, we talked about this before on some of our previous streams, that, I understood that my audience is going to connect with me, and my tribe and my community, they will connect with me, and I'll build that community, and I don't have to try to connect with everybody, but those who resonate with my brand, but then also just who I am as a person. That's real big for me. But then the second piece is definitely understanding the times, and this is the time we're in right now.
Right, right. And
Yeah,
I think
I
I
kind
think
of
that's
feel. Oh,
important.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I kind of feel like it's interesting. My path has been so different for how I got here. I think where I first launched into even being aware of this was around November, and said, that seems cool. What can I do with that? What would be neat about that? And now a lot of what I'm doing is using it, like I mentioned, in corporate settings, sort of behind a firewall, so it's not public. But finding, this is going to sound really crazy, but using it for coaching sessions. Instead of like a Zoom kind of setup, there's just something about setting it up so it looks like you're on the news that helps people to get real about having discussions. And the go live button kind of effect, that we do it in a company with a bunch of folks, and we'll have 3 or 4 folks and do a session with the same kind of feedback. And it works like it does in public, but it's sort of this contained space. And to the point of other folks here, what I'd like to be able to do is take that larger. And I of late, I've been having people I've been working with saying, hey, my big impact has been in my personal life. You got to make this public. So I'm feeling like I'm getting pushed by people saying, folks need this, as opposed to a strategy that I originally had. The other piece, I think, is this has brought a lot of just getting this together has changed the way I connect and the way I present and the way people react. That just the experience, like you said, of pushing the go live button, you do it enough times, even with a phone. So now if I just get an idea, go out in the yard and do something. It's a whole different thing. It's become reflexive now, but people who have known me for a while and I say I just do that, they look at me like, you what? How's that possible? And so I think all this ties together.
It definitely does. And I thought that was very unique when I had reached out to Joel. He was like, well, I don't know if the way that I use Ecamm Live is appropriate. I was like, absolutely it is, because there's different ways of using it. I mean, one of the and I probably all of us can attest to this, is on Zoom. Virtual camera is just amazing, right? And and so anytime I'm on Zoom on a conference call or anything on Zoom, people are like, what are you using? First thing is, what camera are you using? And then the next thing is, well, what software? Because I may have my name or have my logo or something like that. And they're
Right.
like, Zoom can do that now? I'm like, no, Zoom can't do
Right.
that. But I'll send you an
Or
affiliate
even
link of a software
or
that can
even
do
we're
that.
doing yeah, even we're doing a training and it's time for a break.
Right.
And let me see if I have this set up here. You put up a little countdown timer for folks, right?
Right.
A little 3D countdown timer. Like, how did you do that? Well, it's easy, but not in the tools you know. And another part I've found actually is that for corporate networks, I don't know if you guys have worked there, but a lot of times the machines are totally locked down. You can't do anything to them.
Mm.
So this allows you to do visual effects and presentation style stuff just by feeding it as a virtual camera rather than being limited to what's built into the system. So
Right. And so,
Yeah.
Tramel, how have you? I know you do your radio show and all that. Is that primarily what you're using Ecamm for, or you're live streaming, or you doing some other things as it relates to that as well?
Well, right now that's the only thing that I'm using Ecamm Live for is the radio podcast. And like I said before, it actually really has enhanced what we do here. And just based off of that, it's really been booming. It's been booming just based off of using Ecamm. Like I said before, beforehand we were just doing it just by iPhone, me and my co-host, just by doing it by iPhone. And we didn't really get that many views off of just doing that. We'll get, probably like it'll go up to like 10, 11 or anything like that. But usually after using, Ecamm Live, man, the views are just started going up and just it's been amazing. It's really been amazing. But Ecamm, it just the overlays and the graphics and using videos and actually having the ability to do the commercials and the music and everything. It
Right.
really has enhanced everything. So if nobody, I recommend Ecamm all the time to people all the time. I state to them, if you're not using Ecamm, I don't know, your live stream is, hey, let's work on that. Let's work on that. You have to use it. I'm telling you, it's very. I recommend it highly.
Absolutely. I mean, and one of the things, and we're going to move kind of into even like equipment. That's one of the things that I feel a lot of times people allow to hold them back. Is I don't have the camera that they have. I don't have the fancy graphics and all of this. And really, it's really about using what you have. We were talking to Doc, and I was on Doc's stream last night, and I was telling them, I said, even people want to, they see Keith Peltzer, one of the guys in the community, with all these different cameras and things, and they're like, oh, I got to have 4 or 5 cameras. And I was like, man, before I even got my Sony, I was using a C920, a Logitech C920, and the great thing about Ecamm is you're able to fake having multiple shots, right? Because of the feature set inside of Ecamm. And so literally people were thinking I had multiple cameras, and I had that one C920 with that wide shot and a couple of tight shots at
And
different
cropped
angles.
in.
And they're like, yep, cropped in. And they're like, wow, but it's all about maximizing what you have. And I'm sure you guys have ran into that actual excuse or what have you. Doc's in the comments, he don't deal with excuses or what have you as it relates. But, I tell people it really, when you get to a point where it's really affecting your business, then that's when you really say, okay, I got to get uncomfortable, right? A lot of times you don't get uncomfortable until you get uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times as business owners, even speaking about live streaming and how important it is in the marketplace now, I have a book that's be coming out later this year called The Marketing Mindset. And in that book, I talk about the 3 sights that every entrepreneur or business owner should have, really every leader. You should have hindsight, insight, and foresight. And so the hindsight is seeing what's happened in the past. How does that apply to you today? Insight is seeing what's happening right now. Well, we know live streaming is happening right now, right? We know that, okay, this is the future. And, foresight is seeing, okay, where is things going to be 3 to 5 years from now? Well, we know live streaming is not going anywhere. And so those who are not jumping on the bandwagon now, I was kicking myself in the behind because I didn't jump on the YouTube bandwagon years ago, right? In video. And so now people, they see how popular, I know Doc was talking about how he was on the beta of YouTube and somebody introduced it to him. He was like, man, I'm not studying that. I'm not studying that. And so he let it go by for a few years before he realized this thing is huge, And so that's what we're saying as a panel. Listen, live streaming is huge. It's
Mm.
huge for your business. It's huge as an entrepreneur and really building your audience. And watch this. Many times it's free, right? I mean, yes, Ecamm Live, will cost you something monthly or yearly, but the platforms, we have these free platforms. It costs you nothing to use YouTube. It costs you nothing to use Facebook and get on there and share your story or what have you. And so, even talking about equipment, I know people are going to be asking that. So let's go over some of the equipment that we use in our business as it relates to our live streaming and all that. Jillian, let's start with you.
Okay. What am I talking about? My equipment. All right.
Yep.
So I have, so personally, I own a couple of Canon 80Ds, which I really like to use for live streaming. Got the dummy batteries, the nice Sigma lenses. But one thing, and I'm using what am I using? A MacBook Pro, but I'm on the Mac Mini train. So I'm going to get a Mac Mini like everybody else
Yeah.
eventually. But it's funny. So one of the things that I do in my job, so I have a couple different jobs. One of them is for the public school system, and I do their social media marketing and video production. So I just did a bunch of live streaming for their graduation ceremonies. So with that, I've been able to use some of the school equipment. So there's a lot of equipment that I use that is not mine, that I either using from the school or the clients that I have. I've encouraged them to buy some of their own equipment, and then I help them set it up and facilitate their live streaming. So at MEDC, the Economic Development Corporation, I was like, listen, if you don't want to spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but you do want to have a nice, beautiful, clean live stream, then we're gonna use Restream so that we can live stream to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So they pay that bill every month. And then I got them just a couple of Canon M50s with some nice lenses. We've got some ring lights over there. So depending on the setup, I spend more or I save more, but there are times where it doesn't matter. I've done my most popular videos on YouTube are all cell phone footage. I have a video that went viral
Wow.
that's gotten like 11 million views. It's my husband on a cell phone chewing gum behind the camera, and that's all I
Wow.
hear. All I hear is but it got me a lot of money, and I won a car because of that stupid footage. So there are times where, yes, you want to splurge, you want to have that nice camera, you want to have the nice lens that can focus and make me look beautiful. And other times it's more about what you're talking about. It's more about what are you offering to people? Are you entertaining them? Are you giving them knowledge? So anyways, I know you did not ask about that. Sorry.
Oh no, you're
But
good.
yeah.
You're fine. It's all relevant. It's all relevant.
Oh, and
All
I just
right.
got a SM7B that I'm trying out right now.
Uh-oh.
But I
Uh-oh.
but I need I need a lifter, and I don't have it. So I have the volume all the way up, and I'm talking real close so you can hear me.
I gotcha. All right. Charles. There in
Yes,
the
sir.
comments talking about your background. Charles
Mm.
just
Oh,
redid
man, I
his studio.
appreciate
It's bananas.
I did. It's been an evolution with this studio. I will say, this is not how I started. As a matter of fact, I'll put this little image up here in a second. But so I started, like Jillian said, with my cell phone. That's how I was doing my videos on my cell phone with a little ring light, I think, in this little corner, almost between my dining room and my TV room. It was like a little wall barrier, and I got in between there because I could get the best lighting, and that's how I started doing my
Yeah.
videos initially. Now I'm rocking, I'm a Canonite, so hopefully I don't get kicked off this chat by all of the Sony folks
Nah, we forgive you. We
watching.
forgive you.
But I use the Canon M50 with a 22 millimeter lens, actually, that still allows me to capture the amount of the background that I want and still get a little bit of bokeh in there so that everything isn't legible on my bookshelf and all of the dust when I'm in between cleaning sessions. But then let's go here. So I have a Rodecaster Pro that I use that was gifted to me by a client after I did some work for him. He said, "Man, the work that you did, I feel like you didn't even charge me enough." He said, "You exceeded expectations." And a week later, he sent me this because in conversation when I was
Wow.
helping him set up his home studio, I mentioned that was the next thing on my list. And so he sent me the Rodecaster Pro and also the Stream
Amazing.
Deck, rocking the Mac Mini, and the Cal Digit for my docking station. And I got 3 monitors and everything monitor, camera, and then my overhead camera, which is a webcam, the C920. It's on Visa ARM systems, a type of Visa ARM system, but not just the Visa. There's a couple of them that I'm using. And that's kind of my rear shot of the studio. Main key light over here, another little light behind my monitor. Still using that same ring light that I started with. And then because I was doing podcasting, I treated my walls and a little bit of the ceiling with the acoustics all in front of me, but then everything else behind me is still bare for that nice look. And I tried to match my studio vibe with my tone, my personality, and also my message. I lead 2 video series, one on leadership and then the other one on connecting across differences, called Race Talks. And so when you're having those type of conversations, I wanted my mood and my ambience to sort of match all of that. And so I took all of that into consideration when bringing everything together.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, Tramel.
Well, first and foremost, let me just say this because I love Mr. Charles Jackson's studio setup. I've watched various of his videos, and like I said, I'm still in the beginning stage. Is getting there, but I have to commend his setup because, like I said, I've watched various of his videos, and I'm not up there like everyone else, but like Mr. Freeman said, it's what you have. All you have is what you need, and that's what I stand by. Most importantly, and like Miss Jillian, I have the Shure MV7. I have it and I'm loving it daily. I love it. I love using it. I have the Blue Yeti and I put that to the side after I bought it. And I said I don't even want to use the Blue Yeti like that much. It's just over there to the side and it's just like crying out for me sometimes. Why won't you use me anymore? I'm like, I don't want to use you anymore. So I'm using the Shure. Shure is awesome. I'm also using the Audio PodTrack P4. I always wanted a Rodecaster that's in the works, but the Audio PodTrack P4 it has been amazing. When it comes to recording and everything like that, and actually uplifting some of the audio, things like that. And just been looking at other folks' videos like Mr. Charles Jackson, Miss Alicia Way. I don't have like the Sony cameras. That's all in the work. Use the iPhone majority of the times for my videos. Sometimes it produces great quality also as well too. But I'm on the verge of being in the heavy hitting games like everyone else here on this panel, and I'm yet learning also as well what everyone else is using, because I want to get up to that point to um have it all really, but also just learning all the gear and things like that as well too. But like I said, I use the Audio PodTrack P4, the Shure mic. Also have the Zoom mic also as well when I have like other guests or other people that may come in also as well. But that's some of the gear that I have, and I tell people all the time when they ask for like mic suggestions, get the Shure mic, get the Shure mic. I'm telling you, it's the best mic in the world right now. So Miss Jillian, since you haven't used it yet, I'm telling you right now, you're going to love it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. It's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, no, and I have to admit, I got the original Blue Yeti. So those that are techies, they know that the new Blue Yeti that was really downgraded by Logitech, that's totally different. So you don't buy that one. But the original Blue Yeti, I had that for years, man. And I'm an audio guy too, so I knew how to set it and all that. But there's nothing like, I love my pod mic. I got a pod mic now, and so yeah, I'm going to get me a SM7B. Soon enough or what have you, but yeah.
My Blue Yeti is back there just for decoration now, man. There's so much treatment that has to go with that thing. I did a live with it once, and I had guests with me, and afterwards, instead of commenting on the content that we were discussing, which I thought was really good, a couple folks was like, "Hey, man, if you need help with your audio, just reach out." And I was like, "What do you mean?"
That's crazy. All right, Joe.
Well, I kind of feel like I'm part of the Rebel Alliance for this.
Rebel Alliance.
Well, I'm not part of the SM7B crowd. But no, in terms of hardware, I switched to an M1 Mini back about a month after they came out, and I've just been nothing but stunned. And when you hear what I'm running, I'm running Ecamm And so my audio that you're hearing is going through Pro Tools. It's about a 20-channel Pro Tools board. Because I'm on so many different systems all day long, I have it set up with Mix Minus for Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype, 2 or 3 others. And so rather than rewiring everything all the time, I just set up Pro Tools with a bunch of plugins. It runs on the same MIDI. Normally, audio folks, and I have a lot of background in audio, normally audio folks like video say, oh, dedicated machine, don't share it with anything. Somehow this thing manages to run that, plus Ecamm, plus Zoom, plus Teams, plus a browser without running out of gas. So that's been a big win. From a camera perspective, I probably should let you guys guess, but it's not one of the big cameras. Actually, no, it's just a Brio. But I have a prompter, and I figure I'll replace the camera eventually. But for now, it does enough. Because I come from the audio world, I've got a little bit more esoteric mic preamp, and this mic in particular is one of the Neumann mics. I also use a Sennheiser 416 as a shotgun, and it works. So, but again, I think the gear to me was getting to a place where it's good enough, where it's clean, sounds decent, looks decent, and the rest is now I'm working on content because I'm not going to be upgrading hardware a lot until I get a pile more content out.
Right.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's a great
Can
point.
Can I say something to all the Canon haters? Because
Go
I think I think I saw Doc in the comments
You probably
saying
did.
I was
probably
cursing,
did.
and I'm like, did I swear? I don't think I swore. Not with all these people in the ministry. I don't think I swore. I didn't swear. It was a Canon thing. So when you do photography on the side, which I do, I wasn't going to switch over all of my lenses. And I know you can get adapters and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, I know how to use my Canons. I love them. So, and that was my ad.
Jillian,
Yeah.
I will join with you 100%. I have taken so much stuff from the Sony crowd, and I'm not giving away my L series glass.
There you go.
And the truth of the matter, man, is
Content.
when you know your camera, you know how to set it up, you know how to get the right, because it's all about the glass as well, and so having the right lenses and things of that nature. I mean, look at you guys' shots now. I mean, they're amazing, and so literally, your audience, quote unquote.
that's my webcam.
I was about to say that's webcam. Yeah, and so your audience, they literally don't care. Right, that a lot of that is really for us as live streamers and influencers and things of that nature. We get into the the whole tech thing, and even with Doc, even though he in the comments probably hating, even he realizes hey, it's all about the content and really getting that out to the audience and things.
Yeah,
and
he's
so
in the comments right now. He said he has both.
So he
said
does.
was
He
joking
does.
around. And I think it's important that everybody's talking about the content because, like I was saying earlier, this is how I started. This is how I used to, for a good 6 months, almost 12 months. This is how I was doing my thing right there.
Wow.
That was it. And I had a
Still looks
lapel
great.
mic, so I had good audio. I had the iPhone like 8 or something, maybe. So I'm getting a decent shot. And then I got a ring light, and I did that for a minute. And folks were not saying, hey, what equipment are you using because it sounds terrible. They were, following me. They were booking me for coaching sessions and everything. So I think if you start with those basics, the camera, the lighting, the audio, most basic setup, learn how to use it and practice delivering good comment, and then you move forward with upgrading because I think Licio, admitted on one of his streams, he's like, some of the stuff we have, 4 monitors and 40 inches in our studio is a little overkill. We just like it. It's for convenience now, right? It's not even necessary. It's just a convenience thing. So.
It is. Absolutely. Somebody was saying that yesterday about MacBooks, and I was like, no, we have to stop there now. That's not a convenience thing. I got to have a MacBook. Okay. But you're right, man. It's all about just using what you have and getting started, right? Getting started. I was the same way. I had the C920 and was just using that as a webcam. And I even did a video that got a lot of views on it on how to make your C920 look like a DSLR, because I got in there and I tweaked it. And so people thought I had a DSLR camera way beforehand, and being able to, really get in there and learn and know your actual equipment or what have you. I'm currently using an A6100. Didn't start that way. Again, it started out with C920. Used that for years. So I have a C9 A6100 with the Sigma. We all know about the Sigma 16 millimeter, f1.4. Soft boxes. I got the Rodecaster Pro, which was giving me a fit before we started, or what have you. And so that even speaks to what you were talking about, Charles. About sometimes it's about simplifying. Simplifying down the actual setup, so you can get the content out. You know what I mean? I was watching one of the other stream chats, and I think Doc was having some issues and all that, and he had to, just dumb it down to the basic Ecamm features. But it was about the content. It's about delivering the content and getting that over. And so, as we begin to wrap up or what have you, let's talk about case uses. I know, all of us may be doing like our general live streams and everything, but even if you're working with clients and introducing them to Ecamm Live and live streaming, what are some of the case uses that you've used? I know Jillian does, I think, sports as well.
So, yeah, I mean, we do a lot of. I never intended to do that. In fact, all the guys, the camera guys, always make fun of me because the comments I say in the headset are like ridiculous. Like I don't know sports, but I was working for the school system, so I wanted to bring all the sports to live streaming. So I started live streaming hockey, and actually, it was that I did a behind the scenes live on the Ecamm Live community Facebook page, just on my cell phone. Like, hey, here's how I rigged this up. I knew I wanted to have this overlay. I knew I wanted to have this. I gaff taped like a battery pack to like the glass. People were laughing at me. But me doing, it's true. Actually, I think it was this guy. This guy was gaff taped to the glass. But anyways, just doing that got me a really two awesome gigs where I flew out from Massachusetts to Wisconsin to help my boy Ivan from the Ecamm fam live stream a couple of dance competitions. And it was great. I mean, it was in terms of business and in terms of the connections I made with Ivan and the partnership and being able to use my knowledge of how to live stream and how to make the cameras and the microphones talk and the overlays and what to spend my time on and what to not worry about. And there's always like 5 different backup plans for each thing. So even if this camera goes, I've got a backup camera, I've got a lapel mic in case that goes. But so anyways, I was not into sports. My husband can attest. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do know how to make what I envision in my head come together with whatever equipment I'm kind of given for the project. So sometimes it's all my equipment, other times it's collaborating. So it's not, it's really like, I never thought I was like my dad, but my dad's an engineer. And I never thought I was like him until I started doing this stuff. And then I was like, okay, I'm limited by this. So what opportunity do I have to make to still make my vision come to pass and make it work? And so backup planning and stuff like that's huge. So dance, graduation, hockey, all the sports, and then video podcasts and church and stuff like that and all the stuff.
Awesome. I was sitting at my daughter's graduation this past Saturday, and they weren't live streaming. They were video, but they weren't live streaming. I was like, man, there's a huge opportunity right here. We was in Greensboro Coliseum. It was huge. I was like, that's a missed opportunity there.
There's so many people if you're in the Ecamm fam, if you're like starting off, I always try to give this advice to people because it's at the point where I have more work than I know what to do with. But communicate in your community, figure out where there's a need and get yourself paid to do some of those things where there's a need. So maybe you do some volunteering first. I was a teacher for 11 years and then I started making videos for my school district and now I'm being paid for that. I'm not teaching any longer. But figure out in your community, where is there a need? They're not live streaming graduations. Offer to do it this year, get paid to do it next year. Same with sports. I was talking with Doc and I said, listen, people should connect with their local chamber of commerce, any economic development. People should volunteer with the school systems. There's so many opportunities to, cable access. If you're in a city with a cable access channel, which so many have, hook up with them, start to hone in your craft, make yourself available, and, pick and choose what you want to try to start to get paid for. If you're not yet getting paid, if you're just doing your own stuff, figure out the needs and offer to fill that. And then you're building your resume and you're going to start making money for it. I promise you, it's all happened organically for me. But it's by
Wow.
volunteering, finding that need, and then getting in there.
That's good. That's good. Anyone else, as far as some case uses or what have you?
I think, like probably the rest of the guests, I also have a video podcast that I'm using Ecamm Live for, and it started the initial one right after COVID-19 hit, and I
Mm.
sat down with CEOs, COOs, just entrepreneurs with those big businesses like Fortune 250, 250 or 500 companies to talk about how organizations can move through the pandemic, try and
Mm.
retain employees, make the right business decisions, how to manage remote team, and it blew up. It took off, right? Episode after episode, and so on that, this CEO of one of the companies he actually asked me, said, "So how long have you been working for this company doing all of their like having them do your production and all this type of stuff?" And I said, "Sir, I did everything that you saw myself using a software called Ecamm Live. Videos, the comments, the overlays, the graphics that you saw. I'm a
Yeah.
one-man band." And he sat there like, there's no way. Like I have a whole team helping me with my webcam and just to sit here and talk to you right now. And you did all of that by yourself. And so that again sort of reinforced the power of Ecamm Live for me. And now I use it for our new show, which is called Race Talks Uncut, where we bring in authors, poets, activists, again, just political figures, government, city officials, athletes, and folks who are sort of at the front lines of the fight for racial justice. But then we also just talk and have chats with everyday folks, sharing their personal stories about their culture, no matter what the background is, because I feel like those conversations are important right now. And so, again, same thing every week. I have folks hit me in the DM saying, just your production. I felt like I was watching TV, like I was watching a TV show, a new revised sort of Oprah Winfrey show or something. And so, yeah, Ecamm is really took my platform to another level. So that's my case
That's awesome.
usage.
Right. That's something that I can attest to as well. With that, even with our church services and being able to do everything from home, during the pandemic and all that. But it allowed us to level the playing field. Like when you see a lot of these major ministries that are doing all of these different graphics and major work, and they have this whole team. And like Charles was saying, we're able to do that with Ecamm Live. We're able to do all of that, as a one man band that we wouldn't be able to do if we had to, hire all these people and all this. And that's what Ecamm allows
100%.
us to do. M3 Live had a question. And guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to put a Q in front of your questions. And we'll answer those for you as we're closing out. Any case uses and music suggestions. There's several that I can come up with. One that I know a lot of people actually turned on some music instructors to is piano lessons or music lessons. A lot of them had multiple cameras, so they wanted a camera for themselves, but then they wanted an overhead camera to actually show their piano or what have you. And a lot of times, if you're doing Zoom, won't allow you to do that without having an external software. Well, with Zoom coupled with Ecamm and the Ecamm virtual camera, now you can do that. And so a lot of the instructors, I have a friend down in Greenville that I was showing how to do it with Ecamm, being able to switch and all of that, being able to pull up even videos if he wanted to use instructional videos. And then you have bands. Bands are using Ecamm Live to stream their actual concerts, things of that nature. DJs are doing their DJ sets. The pandemic really allowed people to get creative in how they were actually marketing, how they're actually making their money and all of that, because everything was shut down. And so,
Yeah.
people were like, okay, we got to survive. So how do we do that? While still encouraging people, through their music and all that. And so, yeah, that's definitely other ways to do that as well. Are
It's
those
funny that you
background?
stated.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's funny that you stated about DJs. Like my co-host, at first he was using StreamYard, and
Okay.
sometimes he still use it. But after when he came on the first go around, he wanted to know what software I was using. Now sometimes he use Ecamm, and so with
Wow.
him using Ecamm also as well, because he does like a show on Sundays where he DJs on Sundays, going live on Facebook using Ecamm or using StreamYard. But based off of using both of those entities, man, he's just based even during this pandemic, people been booking him, just booking him
Mhm.
just to come on out and DJing just based off because of what he does online. Just the power of live streaming and just the power of using those software. So you may never know where it may lead to. And
Right.
just based off of him just doing that, just like I said, he's going everywhere to Florida to different states and different places, and that's just based off of just his online, just being online.
Wow. And that you said something that that I often say is even if you're an entrepreneur in the Ecamm community and you're a live streamer, you do this, you're a content creator, what have you, going live, just going live is going to
Hmm.
allow you to make money organically.
Hmm.
I can't tell you how many times from, and Charles can attest to this, from when we did our Stream Kings chat or show to me going on live, just them seeing my background, seeing the clarity of the camera and all that, they begin to ask questions. And then they say, well, can you set that up for me? Or can you do
Hmm.
my
Hmm.
overlays and all this type stuff? And so really learning the software, which is very easy, learning the software, learning your equipment. Now you can really show people, okay, I can show you how to do the same thing. And now you have
Yes.
another income revenue stream coming in that's into your business that could really become a recurring thing, with coaching and all this type things. But it starts with going live. It starts with hitting that button and, doing the right thing first. Let's see. Are those background layers available for purchase at Ecamm? These are not. These are some that I created real quickly for the stream today. But if you inbox me, I'll send them to you. How about that? You inbox me, I'll send them to you or what have you.
That's nice.
Yeah. And so I have really enjoyed the conversation today. This is our first one, and we're going to, first with many, we're going to have so many other things that Katie and I were talking about as far as supporting the entrepreneurs here in the Ecamm community. And so we're so grateful that our guests, Jillian, thank you so much. Charles, Tramel, and Joel, thank you so much for joining us today. And as we close out and wrap up, just tell us if you have any upcoming events or anything you want to promote. Tell the people how they can connect with you and all of that. And then we'll go from there. Let's start with Jillian.
Starting with Jillian. Man, you guys are spoiling me.
Ladies first, always.
Well, okay, so if you're a Brazilian Portuguese speaker, so se você fala português, you can follow me on YouTube at Miss Jill. So just YouTube, Miss Jill. Also, if you want to see some random ridiculous videos I've made, including the viral video I was telling you about, that's on there too. And then I've just started a new YouTube channel. If you look up the Creative Communicators is my business. So I just started a brand new from scratch. I'd be lucky if I had 8 subscribers. So if you want to follow me there, that would be great. I'm going to start doing some tutorials there because I'm doing so much streaming on everybody else's stuff, but I want to get back to streaming on my own channel. So either Miss Jill, se você fala português, se você quer aprender inglês, you can follow me there, or you can go to the Creative Communicators and you'll see me smiling with a blue shirt, and that's how you'll find me.
Awesome. All right, my man Charles Jackson.
Yes, sir. So on all of the favorite social media outlets, Charles Jackson Media. So at Charles Jackson Media, except Twitter, for some reason, I had to be at Charles Jackson Media 2 or something. But for the most part, Charles Jackson Media as the social handles. And then on the web, www.charlesjackson.media. Again, on YouTube, getting ready to kick off season 2 of our popular video chat series, Race Talks Uncut, where we talk race relations, connecting across differences and breaking through social divides. And then we'll also be following up with Leadership 911, again, helping leaders respond to any type of crisis, whether it's the pandemic, financial crisis, Y2K, whatever it is. But I'm always in the Ecamm community trying to learn, but then also sharing relevant information. I hang out with Jermaine Freeman and the Stream Kings,
Yes, sir.
and which is amazing, that collaboration right there of us coming together to do what we're doing here, in a sense. And so, yeah, I would love to connect with folks in any type of capacity. Like I said, I offer media, consulting, leadership consulting, and our new season of Race Talks Uncut kicks off June 10th. And matter of fact, Jermaine will be on there with me.
Yes. Excited about
So we're
that.
looking forward to that. So that's how you can stay up to date with all of the content that we are putting out there.
Awesome.
Did you say
awesome.
Y2K?
Yes. Those type of pandemics. Like we leaders need to know, take a lot of lessons from that situation, good and bad. And I'm actually writing a book right now on, again, Leadership 911, when crisis and courage collide. And a lot of it is based on lessons learned from that type of pandemic.
Gotcha. Okay. Tramel?
Yes, you can follow me personally on my Facebook page, Tramel Crawford, also on Instagram. If you want to check out the radio podcast, you can check it out on YouTube at Here for a Purpose Creative Studios LLC. If you want to check it out on Facebook, it's HFAP Radio Podcast on Facebook. We have all past episodes, and we do it live every Friday on Facebook and YouTube. We just love having fun. Also, I'm a graphic designer as well. You can check out some of my work on Facebook at Here for a Purpose Creative Studios LLC, and also on Instagram. All you gotta do is type in Here for a Purpose Creative Studios. It will pop right up. I love working with people, love connecting with others, and also just learning from others as well in the game. That's just trying to enhance what I'm doing, and just also helping out others. That's what the podcast is all about: is helping out those during this pandemic about their purpose and what they want to do within whatever field that they're doing. That's what we do on the podcast. Is just enhancing other people and pushing them out there in regards to their purpose. And we do it every Friday. So, hopefully everyone can have the opportunity to just check us out on Fridays and just enjoy and have fun with us.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. Love it. And lastly, my man, Joel.
Well, thank you, Jimmy. So, I'm in the process of completely nuking and rebuilding my website. But I do have a landing page there for if anybody would like. And this is actually one of my coaching things that we use. Is called 3 Secrets to Turn Conflict into Collaboration. It's an actual real piece. It's not just, a couple bullets. And if you'd like to grab a copy of that, if you go to resultsimprovement.com/3 secrets, just the number 3 and secrets, you can sign up for email and get a copy of that download. I have a YouTube channel that I think might have 3 test things on it. That's Joel Foner, Conflict to Collaboration. Feel free to jump on, and I promise I'll have some good stuff coming up soon. Also, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. Maybe it's because of the professional commercial stuff. I think I'm the only Joel Foner on LinkedIn. Please feel free to connect there. And on Twitter, same handle. Basically, all my socials are Joel Foner. So I want to also say thank you, Jermaine, for having me on. I think this was a great experience, and glad to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate all of you guys coming on and joining us, giving us over your time. And I hope you guys, as the audience, have learned something today, have grabbed something that you can grab hold of and really encourage you as an entrepreneur in live streaming. And one of the things that actually brings us all together that we all have in common and in union is Ecamm Live. We're all using Ecamm Live in our businesses or what have you. And so if you have not had an opportunity to get Ecamm Live or use Ecamm Live, do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and go. There you go. Yeah, I got my Ecamm Live straight over there. Do yourself a favor and go and download the 14-day free trial. Play around with it. Experience it. Trust me, your life will never be the same. I say that about people that get a Mac. And so now you got your Mac, right? So now your life would never be the same because you'll get Ecamm Live. What have you. And so make sure that you do that. Again, I've been your host today. My name is Jermaine Freeman. You can connect with me on all social media networks at Jermaine Freeman. That's JAMAIN FREEMAN. That's JAMAIN. I always have to spell out my first name. So that's Jermaine Freeman. And you can also visit my YouTube channel at Jermaine Freeman as well. I'll be having a book. I'm finishing up my book that'll be launching in August, The Marketing Mindset. Where we talk about the investment mindset of entrepreneurs and small business owners and how to target the right audience in order to grow your business. And so I'm so excited. Again, make sure you tune in for all the other shows that Ecamm offers. There's so much in the community. If you need support, this is one of the greatest communities to be a part of, because we're always helping, always looking out for one another, always mentoring. And so I always say this is one of the most helpful communities that I've ever been a part of. And it really aligns with the type of person that I am. I love helping people. And so reach out to those that are on the panel, reach out to those that are in the community if you need any help as it relates to Ecamm Live. We're here to help you and help you grow your business as an entrepreneur and grow and get better and better at live streaming. Until next time, we will see you in the community. Have a great day.